News, everyday news on Prince Miller Entertainment TV. Today is the 13th of July 2022. Remember guys to like, share, comment and follow. The ruling Zanu PF party has bragged that it is the country's armed forces and war veterans on its side, raising fears that the security sector might be used to influence the outcome of next year's polls. Addressing a Zanu PF press conference in Harare last Friday, party spokesperson Mutsvangwa, who is also national chairperson of the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veterans Association, said, "We are delighted as war veterans. We are going to make sure that we support Zanu PF. We are also aware that we have a very proud umbilical connection to our friends in the armed forces. We have the best army in the world. We have remained there to make sure that we have the best army in the world. We are always conscious of the role they are playing in defending our nation and making sure that we keep the enemies at bay." Changa also sent a chilling warning to the opposition, mainly the Citizens Coalition for Change (CCC), led by Mr. Nelson Chamisa, saying those calling for security sector reforms were daydreaming and that war veterans could not be messing around ahead of next year's polls to make sure Zanu PF retains power. "We will not brook those who say there must be security sector reforms. Our army is the best. We want to send a very strong warning to the opposition that the boys and girls are back in town," he boasted. Zimbabwe National Army spokesperson Colonel Afios Makotore yesterday refused to comment on Mutsvangwa's claims. Mutsvangwa is a politician, therefore the army does not comment on political issues, Makotore said. The President Emerson Mnangagwa's government came into power in 2017 through a coup which toppled the late former President Robert Mugabe. In the past elections, the army and war veterans have been accused of helping sustain Zanu PF rule. Army generals are on record stating that they will never salute any president without liberation war credentials. During the 2008 election rerun, when Mugabe was the Zanu PF presidential candidate, the campaign period was characterized by violence, which resulted in many opposition MDC members, then led by the late Morgan Tsvangirai, being killed or murdered in brutal assaults by alleged war veterans, soldiers and Zanu PF militia. During the August 1, 2018 post-election violence, soldiers gunned down 6 unarmed civilians during protest by MDC alliance members, then led by Chamisa, over delays by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to announce presidential election results. Ahead of the 2023 polls, Zanu PF has resolved to form a War Veterans League, which will hold its elective congress next month to fill in 40 seats reserved for the wing in the party. Mutsvangwa said all veterans were aware of the heavy responsibility thrust upon them. "We will not disappoint Zanu PF and the president. We also bring in organization and discipline. The discipline is symptomatic of the people who fought against an organized imperial army and won. It will be yours in a formal way for you to harness so that we deliver once and for all a final blow to those who have pretensions to think that there can be regime change in Zimbabwe." CCC Deputy Spokesperson Gift Ostalos Sibiza said this was an indication that Zanu PF was desperate to get the security sector on its side ahead of next year's elections because its campaigning was losing steam due to the country's worsened economic crisis. It's a clear, desperate attempt by Zanu PF, which is losing political support at a time CCC support is surging, as has been confirmed by the Afro Barometer survey and also by ordinary people because of the deepening socio-economic crisis in the country. Siziba said every Zimbabwean is rejected Zanu PF of its failure and they are doing everything to re-engage stakeholders including war veterans. It is clear that is of no doubt that Zanu PF is running from post to pillar because only the CCC government led by President Nelson Chamisa can be able to protect the legacy of the liberation struggle. Political analysts said Mutsvangwa utterances were in a clear indication that the securocrats were involved in the country's political affairs. Zanu PF has always relied on pressuring the ex-combatants and security institutions to support it, as it has not always been confident about its electability. Where percussion, the proverbial carrot, has not been successful in influence voters. This have provided the cohesion, the proverbial stick. Commentator Vivid Gwede said Political analyst Mutsvangwa said, in terms of 2023, there's nothing much to expect unless the military chooses to work with the masses. Otherwise, the people's vote will be stolen once again, and the election will usher in a cycle of legitimacy issues, poor governance, economic crisis, and further deterioration of social services. We have relived this vicious cycle since 2000, and every stolen election brought phases of despair in the cycle. And the political analyst F. added, the relationship between the entire security infrastructure with partisan organizations is prohibited by the constitution, and every organ, including the army, is subject to the constitution of Zimbabwe. So the idea that there can be any relationship between security forces with political parties, for instance Zanu PF, is a brazen violation of the constitution. And so that's the latest here. And regarding to Christopher Mutsvangwa, Mutsvangwa vagara vanongozikanwa nenyaya yekutaura, and sometimes he goes overboard, sometimes he gets too excited. But one thing for sure is that Zanu PF haiskumira kuona kuti vangawina ma-elections ariko next year muna 2023. They're going to be using everything on their disposal to win those elections. And so more veterans vakutofoma their own department there in Zanu PF, and the elective congress kutaura nezvayo is those are going to be used again on the other side kuti vakwanise kugena more votes. And so they'll be using every organ iri muZanu PF to win my elections ariko next year muna 2023. And so to say that army is part of Zanu PF zvineka chokwadi mukati, because I never knew that retired Chiwenga could become the Zimbabwean vice president and joining Zanu PF at the same time, although he was already a Zanu PF member. No one knows, but we saw it happening in 2017, and since then tatangongona army chingobudikira everywhere pangonzi patotika strike chete army unongoona yazara ma-streets sakoshawo zviri kufamba sei. And so we always talk about that thin line iripo between the government and Zanu PF. Sometimes you get confused kushawo zoti event iri kuitwa ndeye Zanu PF here kana kuti ndeye government business, and because everything zvinhu zvangomixana imomo, and vachitoita izvi. And so some people might agree with what Mutsvangwa is saying here. And so today there will be Zanu PF Politburo, and of course we're gonna keep you guys in the loop regarding to any new information. And so this is daily news, breaking news, everyday news on Prince Miller Entertainment TV. My elections next year are going to be a very competitive election, just like in 2018, but this time Zanu PF aistomboda zvona court like what happened in 2018. Vakutora kuti win with 5 million votes, so they'll be using every sector, and every sector will be on its leash this time, and vastomboda zvotamba whatsoever. So there's a lot of work that the opposition political parties needs to do, especially registering eligible voters kuti vaende vanoregister kuvota, and munhu wese ane 18 years old ngaende anoregister kuvota, and also voting on the voting day, also safeguarding the vote. And so it's going to be a very competitive election next year. So tonight at 6:30 here on Prince Miller Entertainment TV, we're going to be talking a lot about this, and as we focus more on the road to 2023 general elections here on Prince Miller Entertainment TV. So guys, can you tell in the comment section, do you agree with what Mutsvangwa is saying on this note regarding to the army? Kana you don't agree with him? And remember, let's just discuss, let's debate in the comment section. This is the daily news, breaking news, everyday news on Prince Miller Entertainment TV.